Let's go, Mets! We are live, and the New York Mets just got a sweep. We got a fucking sweep, boys. How sweep it is. When was our first sweep last year? Phil, did we even sweep a fucking series
I
last year?
think it was versus the Nationals in late May. So
there we go. The 2023 Mets confirmed better than the 2022 Mets, who won 101 games because they swept the Oakland A's, who, boys, I'm telling you right now, I won't even remember that this series happened in a week's time. I already forgot everyone on the Oakland A's except for fucking Dick Lovelady and the two ex-Mets, Trevor May and Jairus Familia.
You forgot Hunter Hogan already?
the great Hunter. I'll remember him in Cooperstown one day. But other than that, just an absolute, fucking bizarre series, all things considered, right? We had, and I'll just set the stage, our boy KFC. Let's give a round of applause for our boy KFC. He is currently getting a place that is not next to an NYPD gun range. So our boy KFC is moving on up in this world even further. So it's me, Phil, and Kyle taking care of business today. And actually, we're just going to say it right now. Cause for celebration. Cause for some Coors Lights. You close on a new house, you get to fucking pop the bottles with the Blue Mountains, and our boy Kevin will be doing that today. We'll all do it together. We'll have a little we gotta believe powwow, celebrating the big occasion here. And when you're going out, having some fun with the friends, our boy Pabs, he's moving on from 5 roommates in a house to 3 roommates in an apartment. Kevin is, obviously getting his new place, or you're just watching the Mets game. We had birthdays. We had AJ's birthday. AJ had another birthday party. Papa Clem had a birthday. It was a birthday-filled weekend, and everywhere we went, all the adults were drinking their nice, ice-cold Coors Lights with the mountains that are blue, like the Rocky Mountains, crisp and refreshing, cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. So whether you're watching the Mets, celebrating, or just doing whatever you're doing, get yourself a Coors Light. Pair your plans with an ice-cold Coors Light, the beer that's keeping New York chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, to this Oakland series, because again, this is going to be one that I think we'll forget, but it was a fucking wacky series. So you boys, I admitted this in the group chat. I fell asleep. My pregame nap lasted from 9 o'clock till about 11:30. I woke up, saw the score, didn't know what the fuck happened, passed out again 10 minutes later, and then woke up and I was like, I missed 7 other things that happened. Friday night, recap the craziness. Give me your guys' thoughts on everything.
West Coast baseball is like a fever dream in general. So if you're passing out on the couch, you didn't really miss anything. You wake up and you're just like, it's 17 to back out, you're out. It was, this entire series was just you holding your breath. It didn't matter if we won. We just couldn't lose. Great. And the A's perfectly handed it to us in every single instance, because if we weren't going to hit the ball with the bases loaded, they were going to hit us with the ball or walk us. It was the perfect scenario. Everyone's screaming that we suck and everything. If we were going to suck, this was the series to do it.
So I just want to say one thing. Friday night, I've watched a ton of baseball in my life. That is the worst competitive game I have ever watched. You will never see another 17-walk game in your life. Actually, no, you might see it from the Oakland A's again this year, for all we know. I won't cut them short. So, yeah, just straight up, that was a historically bad game that I will never forget.
Anyone complaining about the pitch clock? No one complained about it that game. 3.5 hours? Could you imagine? That would be a 5-hour affair. West Coast baseball.
At least if I was awake and watched that entire game, I could have seen myself getting mad that they just kept walking the ballpark, even though it was good for the Mets. I'm like, yeah, but I want to go to bed at some point here. And I have, we have the 2 games over the weekend. I got birthday parties up the wazoo, obviously. Knicks game starting. So, just an absolute shit show of a game, basically from start to finish. Obviously, Lindor had himself a night, which was beautiful to see. I think we've officially eradicated the Lindors. They are extinct. They're not endangered anymore. They're just extinct, right? We can agree on that at this point. I don't even see the crazy Mets fans who are going crazy in the first 10 games. Lindor has escaped their wrath, even though he's been pretty fucking good so far. So that's over. I hope to retire that term into the Raptors one day. Oh, that was the other thing. The big story of the night was that there's a goddamn possum that has taken over the visitors broadcast booth that, Gary, eloquently put it basically that it's full of possum piss and shit, and you can't even go in there because it smells so bad. And like, let's be honest, a possum, those things probably just have like a body odor about them, right? Like a musk is the word I would, like Kyle. So I said the word musk, and Kyle almost threw up on the spot. I mean, that's fucking Milton era Barstool when they had the squirrel living in the walls and he was eating the fucking internet and knocking down the company. Now we just have internet. I'm waiting for Phil to freeze during this because our internet still sucks. What? Anyone complaining as a Mets fan, go spend a weekend with an A's fan and just see what their life is like at this point. It's embarrassing.
There's no words. Those players are desperately trying to have an all-star season just so they can leave. Like, that is so sad that they're just trying to put together. Every single person is rooting for their teammate, not to win the games. Like, you need to be the one that gets out of here. Like the kid like that's growing up in poverty. Like, you're going to be the one to make it. Like, that's what's happening there.
Here's the alternative. They could be so bad they get sent down, then you go to Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
That's idea. Big brain right there. They're trying to get sent down.
Yeah. I didn't realize Las Vegas was their AAA team too, which makes this whole like.
I mean, they used to be ours because for some reason they had our closest affiliate across the country.
It's the place where I remember they said like Las Vegas was the place where nobody wanted to have it, so it would always be like, and the Wilpons Mets, nobody wanted them as like to deal with them, so it was kind of a match made in hell. So now the A's are the version of us now, right? Which I mean makes perfect sense. It's a fucking disaster. We know the stuff with the stadium, obviously the payroll. Scherzer makes more than their entire payroll this year. Is that right? Or it's right?
It's probably close, if not. It's definitely accurate. Like somewhere.
It's fucking disgusting. I saw our RDT blog this morning. The fans are planning a reverse boycott. They're basically, because they're saying it's like the fans' fault. And the fans, they even saw that sign they had up during the game about it not being their fault as security was making them take it down. They showed it on SNY. It's just an absolute like disgusting scene. But they're going to pack the ballpark for a night saying, listen, we'll pack the ballpark. You guys just, actually try to win baseball games. It's not going to happen. It's a fucking joke. But the A's have been a joke our entire lives. They occasionally, rise up with the money ball. Everything hits with the young guys. But when it goes bad, it goes like it did this weekend, which Friday night was an outright disaster. Saturday was a nice win. I'm not going to complain. It was like a little glimpses of the team from last year where we would come back, win the game. Again, it sure as shit wasn't pretty, but 3-2. What was it? 7th inning is when we kind of put that late rally on to win the game.
Phil texted us in the chat and he was like, I almost just hope that Carrasco gets killed and we just outscore them so that he stops being our starter. And he's getting more leash to hang himself. I'm sure he's going to the next time, but like,
I'm happy we won that game. I'm not going to say I'm pissed we won, right. But like, it would have been better if we won like in a slugfest rather than a 3-2, because now I'm going to be sitting there Thursday or whatever, Friday, Cookie's next start, thinking like, oh shit, what if he just lost first the A's? We wouldn't have to be here.
Right.
Yeah, that is so that's the thing is, I think we said before the episode, like, we'd rather just see Cookie get lit up and just, get his phantom injury or whatever sent down. Now that we have the Buttman has come up, the Buttman made his presence known. And if Verlander comes back, that could potentially, we could, get our 5 through there. The good thing I'm going to say is Cookie pitching on Friday. It's 10-15 game. It's basically as late as it can get. If Cookie doesn't have in the first inning, everyone's just going to bed. Yep. We're not even going to fucking try. We're not even going to, try to spin zone it. So I guess that it is what it is. Like, there was some loud outs in that too. Do you feel any better about Cookie today than you did before the weekend?
Not at all.
Yeah. First inning, I tweeted it out too, and I'm like, the slider looks good, and the changeup was moving. I'm like, all right, we're getting flashes, and then immediately it's just nonstop solid contact. The defense looked great. They bailed him out a ton.
Canada bailed him out with running, catch, and left with the bases loaded. So
yep.
Great outfield play all series. Got to find some positives here because Nimmo is our center fielder, and I never thought I was going to say that because I used to hate the guy in center. He saved the game yesterday.
I said this before we went live when I was with Phil, and Phil, I saw your tweet. You said it perfectly. Like, Brandon Nimmo becoming a real center fielder is so like it's under discussed so much. It's also like, I think he had the tools. I think he was in an organization that was being run by fucking bozos. Cohen comes in, and I think they got the right coaches, and he has just kind of blossomed to do it. Nimmo deserves half a win for yesterday's game because those two plays were out of this fucking world. I thought he got hurt too on that second one when he was out of breath or whatever, and I wanted to throw up everywhere because at this point, like, you can't lose this guy. He's so important. You get that first inning where the pitcher has somehow 20 pitches after the first inning. It's because Nimmo let it off with a walk. He grinded the at-bat, and then his defense has become a point. Again, everyone says, oh, you didn't add anything in the offseason, blah, blah, blah. We kept Brandon fucking Nimmo here, and that was very important. So 100, whatever what was his contract again?
I think it was like 162 or something like that number.
Money well spent, man. Money well fucking spent. I love that dude, man. And yesterday, so it takes us to Sunday. If they had lost yesterday, this would have felt like a different podcast. We would have had the fucking people, saying the season's over. This team is different than last year. They fucking suck. Whatever. We all know how it would have gone. At the same point, it was like we've all played that Madden game where they make every fucking catch. And you're like, all right, at some point, like this is like I'm being punked here. I almost want to turn it off just to say fuck you. The A's, for all their flaws, were pulling shit out of their ass the entire game. And like those are run-saving plays. Like on the hit, it would have been a run, or it would have started a huge rally, kept the the whatever shitty pitcher was in the game at that point, his feet on the fire, and somehow they just kept getting out of it. Winning a game like that means something to me. And I know there's going to be Met fans who are still going to be pissed off about wins. Where have we, what fucking fan base have we become where people are mad at wins? We are a fucking loser franchise and a loser fan base. Just acknowledge that before you guys cry about winning a fucking game.
I mean,
Phil, go ahead.
just for reference, the Atlanta Braves won 5-4 versus Kansas City Royals yesterday. I don't think any of them were mad that they won that game by 1 run.
Exactly.
I was hate watching Frank's timeline because the second one thing goes wrong, he just must have everything just sitting in his drafts, scheduled to go out, because it's within 30 seconds of each other about random things, but all of them connecting to whatever's going on. And then everybody piles on. You just see the comments coming out quicker. And I'm like, most of the people that are watching his timeline are watching as fans against the Mets.
Oh yeah, that's I think that's fair. I don't know where Frank stands in all this, but that's another
Frank
time.
assigned them 2 losses.
He gave them moral losses instead of felt like they lost a series.
We got 2 losses.
Yep.
It's going to be impossible to catch the Braves if we're not even fucking getting credit for the wins that we get, let alone, oh man, that's tough. I didn't see that. I know he was all fired up and whatever. I didn't realize
the 17-run game we actually won. The other 2 we lost in his book.
Okay, as long as we won the 17-run game.
I think Jeff D'Lo said it best. The A's are the team this year where if you don't sweep them, it's going to feel like you lost a series because they're that bad. And I completely agree. One, we swept them, so I don't have to lie and say it doesn't feel like that. It absolutely does feel like that.
Yeah, and that was I think that was the Nationals last year, Phil. Once they made all the trades and everything, and Phil was like, guys, listen, this is a AAA team. We're playing minor leaguers this weekend. I heard a lot of Mets say you have to win every game, and I wonder if there's any part or anyone on that team who went to Oakland and said, this is a reason we didn't win the division last year. And again, if they hit and pitched like they did in the wild card round, it wouldn't have made a difference if they had won the division and actually made it to the divisional round. But handle your fucking business in Oakland and then handle it against, all the other shitty teams because they're going to play them. I did see a thing. I'm not going to harp on the Braves. I did see a thing that the Braves are the only team that haven't played a team with a winning record so far this season.
Yeah, but they played the Cardinals too. People think are good.
But it's just one of those things. It's just one of those stats. I'm like, it's just so fucking weird. But again, I've learned to say you have to beat the teams no matter how good or fucking bad they are because that's the reason it ended up biting us.
Can we talk about too how the entire series, everyone's talking about how shitty the A's are, and then Buck puts in a different pitcher, and they're like, I can't believe we're punting this game. And it's like, when are you supposed to use these guys then? Because the team fucking sucks.
Curtis was good the whole first 2 weeks.
Whatever. Who the hell was that guy? And everyone's like, this guy sucks. Get him off the team. He can't even beat the A's. We're punting it. And it's like, if you can't throw whoever you want against the A's, we've got bigger issues down the line.
I'll say this. If we were tied in the 10th inning and Buck had Jimmy Yacobonis for another inning, I would have been mad at that.
Yep.
Yes, that's fair. But I think even obviously it's a close game, but we have 3 games coming up against the motherfucking Dodgers on the road.
Save the good guys for
Save the good guys for the Dodgers.
Yes.
They had to use Robertson yesterday to close it out, obviously. And I saw who's it? Matthew Brownstein had this shared his what's it called? Baseball. Is it the cube or the rankings here?
I am.
Robertson. holy fucking shit, has been awesome so far this season. Granted, it's, a couple weeks into the year, but as a fan base that was basically as vulnerable as it gets, losing Edwin Diaz, having this guy as our closer, and it's been lights out so far. Thank you, David Robertson, from the bottom of our souls. We know the Diaz game is coming. I think KFC has said this is going to be the Diaz game at least 3 times so far this season in the group chat. It has not come so far, and it's because this guy has been fucking lights out. So that would have been a hell of a setup man. I'm really bummed he's not our setup man this season, but it is what it is. So shout out Robertson, Nimmo, Robertson, and our boy Pete. Pete is fucking just crushing the ball. That's a man that wants to be paid a lot of American currency sooner rather than later. He has to. Does he? Yeah, he leads the league in home runs. Yep, Devers is
8 home runs in 16 games. He has to lead the league.
Yeah. Devers at 7, which is crazy. I didn't realize he was even doing that well. But yeah, Pete 8 in 16 games is absolutely fucking preposterous.
He is just scorching hot, and like there's no pitching to him at that point. The fact that people are still throwing him a 93-mile-an-hour fastball down the dick, that ball was not 430. That thing was on the upward trajectory. That was like a Mickey Mantle home run.
Like the third deck in center field. Whatever the hell you want to call that.
That was closer to 4,300 than it was to 430. Like add a fucking 0 at the end there for sure. And that was. I think Kev was like, "Oh, this loss is gonna hurt," and with Pete up, it's like, but at the same point, when you're facing the A's, it's like they don't have guys with them. It's like you want a guy that either throws hard or has movement on their pitches. The A's can basically have one of those guys. Like they can't do both of those things on the A's because they fucking suck. Let's call it what it is. So all in all, an absolute fucking W of a weekend. Honestly, I think we'll forget this series even happened. For as fun as it was after the wins, we'll forget it happened because it was more about not losing, like Kyle said, than when it was about winning. But the big fucking win of the weekend, or the big news, our boy Brett Baty getting the call up. It hasn't even been officially announced yet, right? It was all Martino and I think
they have to make a roster move still. It's probably going to be sending down Butto. Buto, how do you pronounce it? I'm not going to.
He's the butt man. Just call him the butt man.
He's the butt man. The butt. We got to send the butt man down to AAA probably to save a spot. So we're going to have a longer bench and a shorter bullpen. We'll see how long that lasts, I guess. Because they can't DFA Tim LeCastro. He's a free stolen base every time we put him on the bases.
Oh, I love that we're doing this too with LeCastro, just like they did with who was the guy that we all fell in love with last year? Terrence. Oh,
this is the only thing I want to talk to you about. So take a guess what the league-wide stolen base percentage is.
You gave us that Japan World Baseball.
No, this is a real stat.
95, and I totally believed you.
This is a real stat. I have the actual number. It was going in yesterday. Take a guess.
73.
Higher.
Higher than 72.
82%.
Wow.
I thought 82 was too low.
Now, is it 82 in steal attempts, or is it 82
percentage, like attempts, like successful?
Okay, but how many of those are safe too? Because it doesn't seem like anybody's getting thrown out anymore.
That's what I feel like. That's what it was tweeted at me yesterday, and I checked and it was true. So
I like seeing Alvarez's arm yesterday. I know he didn't get him, but I wanted to see that in motion too. Obviously.
And I'm not going to harp on him for not throwing runners out because no one's throwing runners out.
Yeah. I just like that he has an arm.
Also, that was Robertson picking him up when he let that pass ball go by right at the end.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a big pickup because that would have been it's one of those things. It just seems like he's barely treading water at this point. So it's like, at least let the defense come through when it needs to. Like, he can't mess up on both sides of the plate.
Yep. No, and that's the thing about Alvarez or just catchers in general. When you have them up, they struggle to play. It sucks. But when they fuck up in the field, you feel it a lot more than almost anywhere else. And oh boy, I'll tell you, fellas, I'm underwhelmed so far. But it's like, I mean, how can you not be? But it does feel like every time he comes up, it's like bases loaded, down 1, bottom of the 9th, and it's like he swings, he loses his helmet, the bat flies out of his hand, strike 3 without a ball being thrown in the zone. I'm not giving up hope at all with Alvarez, but with that and then the defensive shit, Kyle, that's a great point. It does like doubly wham you, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? And
before the game, I think it was, Buck was like, I'm just happy that he's not carrying it over to the field, and like obviously that's the way it's going to happen. Then he's going to mess up in the field, and it's just like, god damn, he just can't catch a break anywhere. He did have the sack fly. So you got to give him credit there. And thank God he didn't get deep in that count. I think that's like his biggest thing because he's supposed to be a bat on ball guy, they said, which I haven't seen that at all. He's swinging through everything. So maybe he just needs to click and he's just like completely off where he's not even making contact. But good signs. You just got to be positive in terms of RBI. He got an RBI. It's more than you could ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm feeling good about it. Phil, how are you feeling about Alvarez right now? I mean,
Every
given the
time he was,
circumstances.
honestly, every time he was in the minors, there was always like an adjustment period at some point where he has to make it look like 130 for a week, and you'll look up and it's like, oh, 7 home runs, whatever the hell it is. So he has to play in order to make those adjustments. That's the thing. And we have to see when they actually play him.
Yep. No, I agree. But now we have Brett Baty coming up, and I mean, Brett Baty's going to hit 400. He's going to have a home run every game. Everything's going to be fine.
Baty better catch the ground running because he's been hot for 2 months. Like,
yeah.
There's no thing like he's not ready. Like, you're hitting 400 in AAA. You got to be ready at this point.
And I forgot, people were saying, like, oh, and don't forget, he was, like, crushing in spring training. I was like, oh, that's right. So he's going to be like, guys, I went 1 for 12 this week. I've been on fire. Like, sooner or later, I have to cool down a little bit.
That's what every week, every game, I'm looking at the stat line, and I'm like, he's wasted all of his hits down there. Bring him up because Escobar, with the bases loaded, thank God for him that they won that game. Because not only you lose your job, you can't drive the runs in, and he has to be like the bigger man and be the clubhouse guy and be like, yeah, he deserves it. Like, I fucking suck. Because are you going to bat Escobar lefty or are you going to put Guillorme in now?
And he was righty there too. That's the annoying part. That's the spot where he should be at least getting a fly ball.
Right.
When they turned him around, when they made the switch, I was like, this fucking boner A's manager, what are you doing right now? Like, thank God we have righty Escobar because lefty Escobar is an auto out. Fucking double play. At that point, I was mentally like, at least this is the end of this, seeing this every single time. But at the same point, like when he's at third, I feel confident at third. And that's the thing. Baty and Alvarez are going to be now, playing games together. I need them both to be good defensively because like that's a part of this team, especially if they're not going to hit right off the bat, which I think Baty will be good. But everyone remembers he hit the home run his like first pitch, and then he didn't do shit before he got hurt, and it was very, very, very limited sample size. But these guys just aren't, other than fucking Fernando Tatis. I mean, as good as Baty looked, Tatis is like a fucking glitch at this point.
Yeah.
It should be like illegal to bat him in the minors.
Who also isn't eligible to come off till after the Padres play the Braves.
I was going to say it's illegal to bat him in the minors. It's literally illegal to bat him in the majors.
Yeah, very much illegal to bat him in the majors right now. That's a very fair point.
Wait, well, what do you think they should do, Clem, with Baty coming up? Because Guillorme is a better fielder than everybody, and he's the lefty bat. So, like, you're going to bat Escobar lefty and let him play third when Baty's like, I wouldn't.
No. Baty's the everyday third baseman.
Yep.
And then if you're facing a tough lefty that you don't want him to face, you would put. Okay. I would put Escobar. Can you not put Escobar? He's the
everyday third baseman right off the bat from the jump. They're not going to platoon him with Guillorme.
You could also have Escobar as like DH. Put like. Oh. You put Pham in left field, and it's like mix and match, like guys you want. You have all these position players. You have options.
So that was my thought. Is I think Pham goes from being kind of our righty DH to being more of the fourth outfielder. I think Escobar then becomes more of the righty DH. But like at this point, he ain't fucking hitting from the right side either. Right now it's early and whatever. And I do think like. The quote he said that people liked a lot about how it's Baty's time and it's time for him to get up here. I do think Escobar is like a very well-liked guy, and I do think that really matters, especially in a sport like baseball and the clubhouse. You hear about this shit all the time, and a guy like Buck loves a guy like that. So I think you want to like not lose Escobar along the way too, because I think it's going to hurt the clubhouse. And Baty's going to need a guy like that, right? You hear about this all the time, man. When the young guy comes up and the old veteran, to have a guy like Escobar instead of some fucking prick. Like, the guy in the Bronx at shortstop who refused to move his position for his buddy or his ex-buddy because he said bad things about him once. That was my shout out to Rico, though. Rico brings up that story all the fucking time. But that's actually a good question. I mean, and Pham, to his fucking credit, has come up. He's hitting the ball like he's hitting fucking Jock Peterson's face. I appreciate that about him. It's a good fucking problem to have. I don't know what happens, though, when we have to actually get rid of someone. Will probably get hurt along the way, as much as I don't want it to happen. But I do feel like at some point, I feel like with Guillorme, you could move him to second, put McNeil in the outfield for a day. Canna is a piece that I think you could throw him at DH, give him a breath. They were saying that during the broadcast, I believe it was yesterday, how when Canna was getting those breathers, he did come back pretty strong, right? I feel like that was a thing last year.
Yeah, that's why I was confused why he's basically been playing every day so far this year, but maybe just because they don't have the options now that you do with Baty.
Yes, exactly. And I think playing Canada, those 3 games in Oakland was perfect. Obviously, like, every bounce that came off that wall, he was fucking ready for it. So that was perfect. But now that Baty will be up and they're not going to be in Oakland, hopefully ever again, because that fucking stadium is a dump. I went to that stadium and it is like, it's worse than you would even think. It was so fucking dingy, and it's like worse than David Justice described in Moneyball infamously. So all in all, sweep of a series. Only Frank could take away that sweep. Other than that, they can't take that away from us. It was a minor league team that someone said, "Oh, you played a minor league team." No. We swept a minor league team.
That's right.
The old Mets teams in the past would have lost that series, if not got swept in that series in the dumbest fashion possible. This team handled their fucking business. Then now has a series against the Dodgers coming up. And let's see. Let's take a quick look ahead here. We got tonight 10-10 Peterson versus May. Tuesday, we have McGill versus Kershaw. And then Wednesday, oh boy, the old fucking prodigal son, Scherzer versus Syndergaard.
We will see.
Yeah.
He will find some reason to opt out.
What will be the thing that causes Noah not to pitch? Will it be an arm? Will it be a leg? Will it be personal? Or will it be illness? Place your bets now, boys. What do you think it's going to be?
I got illness. He's going to get hand, foot, and mouth disease again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Syndergaard was good for some of the LOL Mets kind of like diagnoses during his time. Kyle, which one do you want to take?
Elbow barking.
Elbow barking. Okay, I'll go lower body. Like, what is it? What do they say in hockey? Lower extremities or whatever? Lower half injury?
Just lower half injury.
Yeah. I'll say like it's a tweaked hamstring. He'll be fine in a day. Don't get me wrong. This isn't going to be a serious thing, but it just happened to miss the game. I guess we'll kind of like go into that with another injury. Scherzer going back to Wednesday. At first, I wanted to say this was always the plan, pitch Budo against the A's, because I'd rather have him play against the A's instead of throwing him to the Dodgers, considering the last time they threw him against the Phillies and they kicked the shit out of him. I think we're all happy with the way that worked out, right?
Yeah, and he did fine versus a minor league lineup that's probably worse than the lineups he faced in AAA. So
yeah. Exactly. With Scherzer here, I'm concerned. I think it's going to be all right. It's kind of like with Verlander. It's in the back of my head. I knew this was going to happen with 2 old ass pitchers. It's something you said from 2019. He had this before. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with last year's shit with the lat and all that kind of stuff and all the oblique.
He just doesn't want to push it. And like, I get that. He's older. He's got a much heavier workload in terms of like, he has to pitch constantly now with this pitch clock. I honestly just think he's a little run down, which understandable because he's old as shit and he's got to pitch every 5 seconds.
And he's a crazy person. He's a crazy person. He has the pitch clock, all those kind of things is probably is wearing him down. He probably feels like he has to be the ace right now because he is Senga's still feeling his way in the US and his fucking nemesis Verlander just hasn't pitched yet. So as long as I'm going to have you guys are going to be my sponsors here, carrying me along the way, because these old pitchers, I saw it last year with Scherzer. And then he got hurt, IL stint. His dog tried to eat his hand off, according to the post or whatever it was. Everything's going to be just fine. Speaking of which, as the guy that didn't watch the series, but, I monitored, I saw a couple innings in the hotel and whatever. Can we just throw out the Brewers series now? Can we just put it out of our brains? Obviously, it was 2 fucking nightmares, and then you lose that game in awful fashion, which might not have happened if Diaz was around. But the fucking Milwaukee Brewers are good. I'm just going to say it now. The Milwaukee Brewers are fucking good. 3-4 in the Padres after sweeping us. They're a good fucking team. What are you going to do?
11-5.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, maybe things would have been different if we weren't at a haunted hotel. We just can't keep thinking about that.
Yeah, there's definitely some shit still in the Mets where we're just doing dumb shit like sending our team to a haunted hotel. What the hell are we doing here? All right, so Baty will be in the lineup tonight, I imagine, right?
You think? He gets it right off the rip?
They're facing a righty. He's better being there.
Yeah.
I'd get if they were facing Kershaw if they are tomorrow, but
Ooh,
yeah, 100%.
That's a good point. I didn't think they are facing. So it's
May
righty
throws
left.
gas, but it's like if a guy is a power pitcher, then he's going to have an easier time. He doesn't have to guess as much.
Yep. And then I didn't think about Kershaw as the lefty. We might have this decision sooner rather than later. And in my mind, if you are kind of like tweaking the alignment to get Guillorme in, it doesn't really work against a lefty as much as it does against a righty because he's a lefty. But I like moving. Again, you forget about this. McNeil can move to the outfield too, which is always a nice little, change of pace. And he just makes everything so.
Now that you brought that up, so everybody's seeing that Mauricio is absolutely annihilating AAA pitching. Dude looks like he is ready. And everyone's saying, oh, he's got plate discipline issues and all this stuff. All that aside, he's still playing shortstop. They're not giving him any reps in the outfield. Yes, maybe trade bait. That's probably more likely. But I'm also like, McNeil's a very serviceable, if not good, left fielder. Are they just playing Mauricio at shortstop to then move him to second base? Because those two up the middle would probably be great, no?
That's a fair point.
I still don't think they believe Mauricio's as good as he actually is. I think they're very surprised at what he's done since Dominican Winter League. I don't think they saw this coming because he fell off the top 100 prospect list last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow the minors closely enough, but I remember seeing the Dominican thing. He wins MVP, and they're like, yeah, his plate discipline got better. And they showed what the percentage of whatever it was, and the improvement was dog shit. And I was like, where was he then? Because it was like 10% of him not swinging it at balls outside the zone. He's like Vladimir Guerrero, but he doesn't make the contact.
I think someone described it perfectly. He's if he were to make the majors, he'd be Javier Baez at the plate. A good version or a bad version, we don't know. But
I mean, as long as it's not Javi this year, I wouldn't not sign up for it.
Yeah, I mean. And that Javi Baez, was that Friday night or Thursday night when he
forgot how many outs there were?
Well, yeah, he didn't dig out of the box. He pimped a double, basically, which, went off the top of the wall, might have been a triple. And then he forgot how many outs there were. The good Javi, bad Javi experience. I am truly happy that we got to experience the good Javi and bad Javi because it's like the Mets. I always said he was the Mets in human form. I wish we didn't give up, Pete Crow Armstrong for him now that he's still, progressing very well. But Javi was fucking awesome. It was the rest of the team that didn't show up.
Shout out to that grounds crew member. His kids are getting put through college with his necklace.
Yeah, exactly. The Javi Baez experience was something to live with. And our boy Castellani is living with the dark side of that for a very long time for a very, very steep amount of money. I don't even know how he got paid a shitload. I remember when I just looked up the numbers the other day. I was like, oh my God, I forgot it was that much. And Lindor's best friend on the team. Turns out sometimes not bringing the guys back. Yeah. So we're in LA for 3 games here, 2 night games and a day game. So this is going to be a tough one. Now this is the good thing. Tuesday night we'll have the Knicks game going on and still have all the emotions in the belly. Phil's a Knicks guy. Kyle, you a Knicks guy? You a basketball guy?
Nope.
Okay.
They don't play defense. No one plays defense. I can't watch it.
Old man Gelling here. There it is.
Nope.
Were you ever?
It's boring as fuck. All they do is just let each other score up and down the court. I'll watch occasionally during the playoffs because then they actually do D up, but no.
What about like you can't say that about the 90s. Were you ever a basketball fan, 90s Knicks or?
No, not really. I'm more of I'll follow the players, but not a team.
Hockey? You a hockey guy at all?
Nope.
Okay, so
Islanders, just because I'm out here, but that's it.
Yeah. I'm a Rangers guy because the Knicks and they're kind of they're in the garden together. But that should make it easier for an old man like me. The Knicks win, lose, or draw have all the emotions running through me, so I should be able to stay up for that. And wait, I think there's kind of a weird TV schedule. What do we have here? Oh, it's TBS on Tuesday night. That's what it is. And then this weekend.
No, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's exclusively on TBS. I think it's still SNY.
Yeah, no, it's SNY, but I knew it was on another channel as well. And then this weekend, the Friday night game is in ESPN Plus, which so SNY. Then Saturday's Fox, Sunday's ESPN. So this weekend, no bueno. I think we were going to try to maybe do our first stream that we did last year for that one-off game against the Reds on Sunday night because it's on ESPN. I got to talk to Kev about that, but 7:00 game on ESPN. That's beautiful. Little early than whatever. So got the Dodgers. Kyle, you seem actually kind of. You think they're going to really ease Baty into this? You think they're going to ease him into the lineup and everything?
I didn't really give it any thought other than he's up. I'm assuming he's playing, but I just didn't think that they'd be handing him a full-time starting job right from the get-go just because they haven't with anybody else.
Yeah.
Even when he was up the last time, and obviously Escobar was playing better at that point. I don't know. I'm down for it because no one else is hitting. It's so weird because everybody that we hit on last year in terms of who we brought in isn't really playing anywhere near where they were last year. So you got Canna, who's not really putting it together. Escobar's not really putting it together. Guillorme was like hitting over 300 anytime they would play him. So like there's a ton of just question marks. So I think he's probably the most likely to play more often, but I don't know.
Marte, I feel like I've been pretty confident in so far. You know,
Yes.
He's like the one guy that he's just the fucking best. He's the absolute bee's knees. I love that guy so much. I wonder if they could just go like, because it's weird. Because if I know they always say like you could do the platoon, right? And you do say, or like maybe Escobar gets it going as a righty, but then it's like Baty's never going to see lefties, and it's like they're like that's what Vogelback said. He goes, "Yeah, I think I can hit lefties. I've just never seen one pitch in like 5 years at this point."
And I mean, Brennan Nimmo was awful versus lefties too for so long, and then you start facing them more, and what do you know? Now he's like hitting like close to 400 off him.
I was a lefty. That used to drive me insane. Like every righty gets to bat against every righty. What is the fucking difference there?
Yeah,
there is none. It's just a bias because there's less lefties, so they don't see him as often.
Oh, Kyle, anti-bias.
I am fully on board with lefty on
bias.
lefty. I don't. If you're a hitter, you're a hitter. I don't give a shit.
Were you a lefty pitcher too?
No,
or ready pitcher? Okay. You'd still be playing if you were a lefty pitcher, probably.
Yeah, probably.
You could always find a spot. Our boy Ali Perez.
I'd take that spend Matt's money in a second.
Ali Perez, is Ali Perez still kicking right now? Or did he finally?
No, I think he's finally. He's finally gone. Yeah.
He's finally gone. It's like a fucking villain. He's finally gone. He's finally out of our lives. So 3 against the Dodgers here. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not going to be pessimistic about it, or maybe this feels like I'm being too optimistic. I'm just I win one of these 3 games against the Dodgers. Like, just don't get swept here. It's almost like just show me you can compete. Like we were so dialed up for that Dodgers series in LA last year. I don't know. Maybe it's just because the pitching has been in a state of flux.
It's also April. Like now's the time where you do want to get the Dodgers. They're 8-8, I think. So
yeah, that's true. Because then they just go on those streaks where you're like, the Dodgers have won 25 of 26.
Yeah, they'll be looking up in July. It's like the Dodgers have won 35 of their last 38 games.
Yeah,
but their pitchers have a combined ERA of 1.24. It's like, oh, okay. So,
it's fucking hilarious how that works, where the Dodgers always just do those kind of things where they fucking just you look at their ESPN page, it's just nothing but green W's everywhere. So yeah, this is probably the time to catch them. I know the Giants have been up and down too, right?
They've been mostly down. They lost 2 games to the Tigers.
That's right. They lost to Detroit. I
coming through town at a perfect time. That's all that means. We got to be on the upswing at some point. So if everyone says we're terrible against the A's, only can get better from here.
Yeah.
And then I'm just taking a quick look ahead at the schedule, and we don't have a game that starts after 9:00 until May 27th in Colorado. So there's going to be a whole lot of nice games once we get back from the San Fran. And again, the San Fran, you have 2 night games to start it off, and then you have a 4:00 and a 7:00. So the games are going to be nice and early, hopefully quick. Not like that game on Friday night. That was fucking absurd. So yeah, I guess at this point, like just show you can hang with the Dodgers. They're pretty healthy, I think, right? I know they had, like, I was looking at their lineup the other day. They had, Betts, Freeman, and everyone fucking.
For the most part, they're healthy. I mean, they lost Gavin Lux to a torn ACL in spring, but yeah,
that's right.
Actually, Will Smith's on the concussion list. We miss him.
Oh,
Trey Turner's gone too. So.
And I was going to say Trey Turner being gone, because that lineup does look completely different without Trey Turner.
Yep.
JD Martinez is their DH, which is just wild to see, just in the middle of that lineup. And by the way, for everyone saying like, oh, the worst, the shitty Mets in their bottom third of the lineup is terrible, it all drops off. Chris Taylor's batting 135 as their 8-hitter. Their catcher Barnes is batting 053. It's like everyone just relax about the line. I'm not even gonna tell people to relax. I've learned you can't fight with the baseball fans. They're gonna say whatever they say. So I'll take a win. I'd love to win the series, obviously. I know that Conforto's hurt right now for the Giants. I think he might play today, but there is a chance, maybe, you know how he is with his body. There's a chance we might miss him when we go to San Fran. Darren Ruff's going to be there waiting for us, as will Wilmer will probably pull some fucking miracles out of his ass at some point. Anything else you guys have for the Dodgers series here?
There is one note on Tuesday when we face Kershaw. He's sitting at 199 wins. So it's bad juju, but if we could prevent him from even getting a win that night, I'll feel good, I guess.
Yeah,
I'll take that. We got the West Coast trip, but we're coming back home. Braves on the 29th, Barstool at the ballpark. Get your tickets. We got the link in bio. I think we do still have some left, but that game's absolutely going to sell out because people have been trying to buy it. The link wasn't working to start, but now it is fully operational. So be sure to get your tickets. We had a great time the first game. Anyone talking about the beer lines and all that, they give us 2 kiosks this year. So there was no issues there. Everybody got more than enough.
Yeah, and it's in that little. So, and for the people that are coming to Barstool, the ballpark, I'm going to try to say this every episode because we could tweet it, we could say it, whatever. But if you don't hear it or see it when we write it, people are going to be fucking confused. You go to the bullpen like entrance there, you show your ticket, they scan it, you give you your bracelet. The beer kiosks are right there. And I love that spot where you just see the bullpens. They obviously have a ton of TVs. And then you go up. We're in the Big Apple Reserve now. So that's where we sit for the games. And then obviously if you have with that, you get the $18 for the food voucher. You scan it at any kiosk you want. You want to get a Shake Shack, boom, $18 off Shake Shack, Pat LaFrida. I love the chicken place where they have the General Tso's chicken tenders. Some people hate them. I like them. What's some of the new stuff? There's the milkshake, the donut milkshake this year. That's one of the new things, right?
I couldn't find any of the new stuff when I was down there though. So like look up where it is because I figured I would just walk around the main concourse and find everything. Couldn't find a single thing. So check it out before you come. Otherwise, you're not going to be finding it either. They have the chicken sandwich that's between 2 glazed donuts. They've got Pat LaFrida's got some new spots. I went to Chitty's cheesesteak yesterday actually because they have all the locations around here, but that's in the ballpark this year. That's good. They got some good stuff.
Yeah. So it was a great time first game, and the weather's only going to get warmer, God willing, because it got cold by the end of that game. Braves is going to be it's going to be a war this year, man. Having Diaz was such a nice back pocket thing for those close games. It's going to be a lot tougher, but that's going to be the first time we're going to have the Braves fans chirping us. It's going to start all back up. I think it's a 4-game series too, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Yep. And again, the link was giving us trouble in the beginning, but there are still tickets at least as of now. So get them now because at some point, if we don't sell out all the tickets, they'll probably just start selling them to the general public as well. So get your tickets now, so then you're reserved, locked in with us. And then May 23rd, we just locked in our first watch party, 5th and Mad. Everyone that came last year to Blue Haven East, which we might go back to at some point. We needed to flip up the juju. We're going to hit a bunch of different bars around Manhattan as of now. We might expand down the road for that, but first one, 5th and Mad, May 23rd. I believe that may be the dozen tournament time. So we're going to have potentially people from outside of Barstool come, outside of New York coming in for the tournament, and maybe we'll get some.
I think they might be playing the Cubbies.
Yes, I believe they are playing the Cubbies. So I'm hoping
Barstool Chicago guys there. We'll mix it up. That'd be great.
Team Ziti, me and Eddie head out, have ourselves a game. Oh, Clem, we're going. The Cubbies are looking pretty good this year. Patrick Wisdom.
In a perfect world, they're playing Stroman, and then we really get everybody going.
Careful, Kyle. Careful what you say here. You're a Long Islander too, man. He probably has some real pent-up rage against you for would you have matched up against him? Was he older than you, younger than you? What are the ages?
I've played against him since we were 10 years old.
That's right. I remember you talking about that. Yeah. Yep. And Big Papa Pump was at the games watching, right?
Big girl. Yeah.
So again, lots of fun stuff coming. We got the Mets, obviously, all the different meetups and stuff coming up here. So it should be a lot of fun. As fun as it could be in the West Coast, which again, give me April fucking West Coast trips every single year. I think I'll sign up for this. My brain is 100% fine, especially with playoff basketball, since these fucking guys last night, that Nuggets game starting at 10:45 Eastern. And I'm like, you're just begging me not to give a fuck about this right now, especially from noon to 3 p.m. There was nothing on TV and they just don't give a fuck. It's crazy.
It was very strange that yesterday that slate only started at 3 o'clock.
Philip, pull up a chair. Let me tell you about back in the day when the NBA and NBC song would play at 12 o'clock Eastern, and the entire Sunday would be just chock full of Ahmad Rashad and some of the best fucking basketball players you'd ever seen in your life. They have to fix that shit. But as of now, we're on the West Coast, so time isn't real anyway. So
get your naps in. Clem will give you a wake-up call.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I'm going to need it for sure. So no matter what happens in these 3 games against the Dodgers, good fucking team. But again, they haven't won 30 of 31. So no matter what happens, gotta believe.
One last thing. It's my mom's birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday, Mom.
Hey, Mama Meek.
Mama Meek. Mama Meek. She's 4 days after the
episode. So I have to wish her one.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.